Next news. Breaking news from the White House.
Yesterday, in a stunning display of American strength, the commander-in-chief revealed that the radical Iranian regime is now begging for a deal after just 26 days of Operation Epic Fury. The mainstream media won't tell you this, but the president just exposed their fake news narratives in real time. While weak-kneed globalists clutch their pearls, Trump's cabinet laid out the cold, hard truth. Iran's military is destroyed, their nuclear dreams are in ruins, and they have exactly one choice left. And what happens next could reshape the entire Middle East, and the establishment is absolutely terrified. So let me tell you exactly why this matters to you and your family. For 47 years, that's nearly a half a century, Iran has been killing Americans. They funded terrorists, attacked our servicemen and women, and openly chanted death to America. And while previous presidents did nothing, Secretary Rubio just warned that if Iran gets a nuclear weapon, they could kill millions of Americans. Not thousands, millions. That's your city, your children's future, and that's everything that you've worked for, vaporized by religious fanatics who believe dying for their twisted cause is a virtue. Under Joe Biden, Iran had free reign. They laughed at America. They advanced their nuclear program while Sleepy Joe sent them pallets of cash. But President Trump, he's not playing their games. He's not writing sternly worded letters to the UN. He's systematically destroying their ability to even threaten American lives again. This is what real leadership looks like. A president who means it. And he's saying he's keeping Americans safe is his #1 job. So speaking of protecting what matters most, I want to share something deeply personal with you. For years, Gary's wife, Angie, battled chronic pain and anxiety from her diagnosis. Endless doctor visits, treatments that didn't help, and watching her struggle daily. It broke Gary's heart. Then Jonathan Otto introduced them to red light therapy, and everything changed. Her pain vanished, her anxiety lifted, and she's sleeping soundly now, full of energy and life again. And Gary's own recovery and vitality, better than guys half his age. This has been truly life-changing for their family. So here's what makes this legitimate. It's backed by NASA research and FDA cleared. The studies show rapid pain relief and real results. And when Gary's covering stories about American strength and resilience, he's thinking about the personal battles that he fought at home. Red light therapy gave them their lives back, and I believe it can help you guys too. Now let's get back to the incredible developments coming out of the Trump White House. So here's what the fake news industrial complex doesn't want you to understand, that this is crucial. Vice President J.D. Vance just revealed something the media is desperately trying to bury. Iran's conventional military, it's effectively destroyed. They don't even have a navy anymore. They can't strike back like they could just weeks ago. So what does that mean? It means President Trump now has options that no previous administration has ever had. Military options, diplomatic options, complete leverage. The Wall Street Journal and their fake news allies are spinning this as Trump wanting a deal. But as you're about to see, the president himself just demolished that narrative. Let's see what they had to do on that. So from Rapid Response 47, from Secretary Rubio on the Iranian regime, these people will kill as many Americans as they have a chance to do. And if they have a nuclear weapon, they could kill millions of Americans. Let's see what he says.
The most important job any president has is to keep the American people safe. And every president says it, but we have a president that means it and does something about it. As the president outlined very clearly to the world on the night this operation began, Iran has been at war with the United States for 47 years. For 47 years, Iran has been killing Americans and attacking Americans across this planet. And other presidents had an opportunity to do something about it. And they all warned about how Iran was dangerous, but they refused to act. And this president's not someone that's going to refuse to act. He's not going to leave a danger like this in place. He's going to address it, and that is what he is doing. From the very first night of this operation, the president made it very clear. People like this, and now what I'm talking about is not the people of Iran. The people that run this country are radical Shia clerics. These are religious fanatics. Look what they are doing now. At their weakest point, this is the weakest Iran has ever been, and look at what they're doing. They're attacking embassies. They're attacking hotels. Imagine what these people would do if they had a nuclear weapon. That is an unacceptable risk for the world. By the way, the president's not just doing a favor to the United States and to our people. This is for the world. He defined very clearly on the first night of this operation what the goal was. We were going to destroy Iran's navy, and that is happening. We were going to, if it hasn't already happened, I'll let Pete speak to the specifics of it. We were going to destroy their missile launching capabilities. We're well on our way to achieving that goal. We were going to destroy the factories so they couldn't make more missiles and more drones. And that is moving forward. Every single objective the president clearly laid out on the first night of this operation is being effectuated. Again, Pete will speak to the specifics of it. This has been an incredibly successful operation. Every day, it may not get covered because, we're unlike them. We're not bombing embassies and hotels. We're hitting military targets. But every day, The Department of War lets the drummer get wicked over every portion of Iran that has these military capabilities, and the results are going to bear fruit for the world. The world is going to be a safer and a better place when President Trump's mission here is achieved.
And they are demolishing those people. They don't. That's what the world is trying to do. Like, we have CNN giving like updates and countering Trump's narrative by using the Iranian state media to like inform the American people. Like, they're all propaganda. Like, they're saying, oh, well, we're about to have America on the back foot. And they're like, oh, well, America's on the back foot. Why are you guys celebrating America's decline? Come on. Why are they trying to say that the greatest military in the history of the earth can't handle Iran? Or they're trying to counter Americans' narrative? It's crazy. But as Secretary Rubio underscores the decisive actions against Iran, the vice president highlights America's new arsenal of options to keep nuclear weapons out of Iranian hands. From Rapid Response 47, what we have now that we didn't have when POTUS took over is the ability to use every tool at our disposal. And that is something that has, if you look at Venezuela, we're using the discombobulator and all these other secret techniques that we have and no president's ever authorized. And you've got Raising Cain, the Joint Chiefs of Staff Commander. He is telling the American military, do whatever you guys need to do. Take out, if we got stuff in cold storage that hasn't seen the light of day in 30 years, but it could help in this fight, take it out and do it. Let's see what Vice President Vance has to say.
The President summarized this very ably. But look, the Iranian conventional military is effectively destroyed. They don't have a navy. They don't have the ability to hit us like they could have even a few weeks ago. And what that does is that gives us options, Mr. President. Now, there's been a lot of reporting about diplomatic options, about negotiations. There's, of course, Pete and his team. There are further military options. But what we have now that we didn't have when the president took over just a little over a year ago is the ability to use every tool at our disposal to ensure that Iran doesn't get a nuclear weapon. Because when I say options, I think it's important the American people know options for what. And it's options to ensure that Iran never has a nuclear weapon. You talk about people who walk into a crowded supermarket and have a vest on, and they blow up the vest and a couple of people get killed, and that's a terrible tragedy. What happens when what's on the vest is not something that can kill a couple of people, but can kill many, many tens of thousands of people? That is the most important American national security objective that exists for any administration at any time, is you don't want the worst people in the world to have a nuclear weapon. That's why the president is doing this. That's why the president cares so much about this particular issue.
And I think as Europe saw, when they hit Diego Garcia, Iran launched a ballistic missile that's thousands of miles away. It almost hit Diego Garcia, where our B-52s and our B-2 stealth bombers were housed. And when you draw the radius, it goes all the way to London. They didn't realize that they even had this technology. And America and Trump were telling everyone, like, hey, they've got this, they've got this. They're like, no, it's impossible. But turns out we were right. With conventional Iranian military forces dismantled, the president now offers Iran a chance to abandon its ambitions or face unstoppable force. They have this much capability left. From Rapid Response 47, they now have the chance that Iran is to permanently abandon their nuclear ambitions and chart a new path forward. He's always looking for peace. Let's see.
But they now have the chance, that is, Iran, to permanently abandon their nuclear ambitions and to chart a new path forward. We'll see if they want to do it. If they don't, we're their worst nightmare. In the meantime, we'll just keep blowing them away, unimpeded, unstopped. Well, there's not a thing they can do about it. They can't do anything about it, you know. I tell you, if they could, you'd be hearing about it. You'd be hearing about it. You don't hear anything about it.
And probably from CNN, because they hate America. God, those guys are crazy. So as Secretary Rubio underscores the decisive actions against Iran, the VP highlights new arsenal of options to keep nuclear weapons off the table. We're going to go into this one by Trump. Let's see.
Estimated it would take approximately 4 to 6 weeks to achieve our mission. 26 days in, we're really a lot ahead of schedule. The Iranian regime is now admitting to itself that they have been decisively defeated. They're saying to people, this is a disaster. They know it. That's why they're talking to us. They wouldn't talk otherwise. But they're talking to us because they've got a disaster on their hands. They're defeated. They can't make a comeback. We're free to roam over their cities and towns and destroy all of their crazy nuclear weapons and missiles and drones that they're building. And we're doing that. They now have a chance to make a deal, but that's up to them. And they'll tell you, we're not negotiated. We will not negotiate. Of course they negotiated. They've been obliterated. Who wouldn't negotiate? They are begging to make a deal. We'll see if we can make the right deal. And if they make the right deal, then the strait will open up. Hormuz Strait will open up. And even now, we don't know if there are any mines. You know, they have 22 they call mine droppers. Think of it. Who would have 22 mine droppers? This is a boat that drops mines. Who has 22 mine droppers? Except for people with very evil intention.
I think that's something to highlight, too. So, like, they're going after hotels, they're going after civilian infrastructure, and the same thing with mines. They drop the mine in the water. There's still mines that are out there from World War II. They're still there. So they're putting out there. They don't know who's going to hit it or who's going to touch it and where it's going to go. By clarifying misconceptions, the president stresses it's Iran that's desperate to negotiate, attributing past failures to prior administrations and calling out the media's bias. Let's see what he has to say on the last one here.
And just so we set the record straight, because I've been watching the Wall Street Journal's fake news and all these stories that get printed like, oh, I want to make a deal. They are begging to make a deal, not me. They're begging to make a deal. And anybody that saw what was happening over there would understand why they want to make a deal. But they say, oh, we're not talking to them. Anybody would know that. And only a total fool. And they're not fools. They're very smart, actually, in a certain way. And they're great negotiators. I say they're lousy fighters, but they're great negotiators. And they are begging to work out a deal. I don't know if we'll be able to do that. I don't know if we're willing to do that. They should have done that 4 weeks ago. They should have done it 2 years ago. Or they should have done it when we first came into office, because 2 years ago they had free reign under Biden. Sleepy Joe, worst president in the history of our country. What he allowed to happen to our country at the borders, and even with a thing like this. But not just him. Every president for 47 years, every president should have done this. They should have done it a long time ago, because you cannot give lunatics a nuclear weapon, and they would have had a big one.
You know, that's what it comes down to. How many people would have died if somebody didn't actually take the stand? So here's the truth that the establishment absolutely cannot handle. President Trump has done what decades of diplomats, 3 previous presidents, and billions of dollars in appeasement payments could not do. He broke the Iranian regime in less than a month. 26 days, folks, ahead of schedule. The mullahs who've terrorized the world, who funded Hamas and Hezbollah, who've killed American soldiers across the Middle East, they're now admitting internally that they've been decisively defeated, telling their own people this is a disaster. And now they come crawling to the table, begging for mercy from the same America that vowed to destroy. This is what happens when you elect a president who refuses to be pushed around. This is peace through overwhelming strength. The world is watching, and they finally understand America is back. So let me be absolutely clear about what you just witnessed. This is the Trump doctrine in action. No more endless wars, no more strategic patience while our enemies build weapons to kill us. Maximum pressure, decisive action, and results. The Iranian regime had their chance to negotiate like civilized people. They chose terror instead. Now they face the consequences. President Trump said it best. If they don't abandon their nuclear ambitions, we're their worst nightmare. It's not a threat. That's a promise from a commander-in-chief who keeps his word. I want to hear from you guys in the comments. Do you think Trump should accept any deal from Iran, or should he demand complete and total surrender? I think yes. But drop a yes or no in the comments, and don't forget to text raw feed to 844-840-4963 so you can see every news alert that comes out. And share this video with every patriot who needs to see what the real American leadership looks like. And don't forget to check out the Next News merch shop at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com and show the world where you stand. My name is Tom McCullough. Stay informed, stay free, and God bless.
The system controls information. Information control is power.
They don't want you to see this.
The truth only survives together. They don't want this. Share this now.